Hello, everyone, and welcome to P1 Broadcasting's coverage of the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series. I'm your host, Mark Murphy, alongside AMA Series Director Kendall Paul. And what a treat do we have for our race fans tonight. 180 miles, 130 laps here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. We're going to build this as a 300-kilometer event, but this is for all the marbles. It's for the whole shooting match, the whole Megillah, whatever you want to call it. The championship will be decided tonight here in the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series here at Homestead. And joining me, as always, Kendall Paul. And Kendall, we've got a treat for these fans. There are 10 drivers in the field tonight with a chance to walk off with a hardware, and there they are. Why don't you talk about them?
Yeah, it all comes down to this here at Homestead Miami Speedway. It's for all these 10 of these guys. It comes down to this one single race, and the pressure is on these 10 different drivers. You see on your screen, there's your 10 drivers. Paul Durkee will come into this event with the upper hand, though, with his win at the Talladega Super Speedway after that crazy finish. That will pay off for him. That gives him 5 extra points into this round. So some little bit of breathing, but not much room there to breathe for Paul Durkee. Still has to have a pretty good night here at Homestead to fend off someone like Caleb Sisk or Chris Goins, Alfred Sharon Jr., those guys that we see at the front normally winning races. But Homestead Miami Speedway, it's a really good racetrack, and we're under the lights tonight too, so that's even more awesome. A little bit going into tonight's rules and that sort of stuff. Tonight's race is, like Mark said, 130 laps. There are 2 tires in the box for these, or 2 sets of tires for these drivers to utilize throughout the evening. 60% fuel on the fuel, so a little bit of saving of the Goodyear tires is going to be key here tonight if you want a chance at that prestigious championship.
Absolutely, and that's always going to be a story here at Homestead Miami, is going to be the tires. It wasn't always that way, though. Racing here has a very storied and rich past, although not always at this location. So the original racetrack here in Miami was called Fulford Miami Speedway. It was opened in 1925 by none other than Carl Fisher. For those of you students of the history of auto racing, that is the one and the same Carl Fisher that founded the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He also developed Miami Beach, and along with that development came a board track that was in existence for exactly 1 season. Its one race was won by Indianapolis 500 winner Peter DiPaolo, and then it was subsequently destroyed in the Great Miami Hurricane of 1926. Racing stayed away from the Miami area until 1985, when it was reintroduced as a Champ Car event around Tamiami Park, and that's located in University Park near the campus of Florida International University. It stayed there until 1988, and then went on another hiatus. And there were some big-time races that happened there. Most notably, the championship battle between Al Unser Sr. and Al Unser Jr. that came down to the flag in 1985. The race was also the site in 1987 and 1988 for the open wheel analog to the Winston Million. It was called the Marlboro Challenge. It was won by Bobby Rahal here in 1987 and Michael Andretti in 1988. But then it went on another hiatus until 1980. Well, in 1986, the race was held in Museum Park in Miami, and that's right downtown on Biscayne Boulevard. And then it went away for 30 years and came back in 2015 to the downtown circuit. That track is located near where American Airlines Arena is now. But all that time, race promoter Ralph Sanchez was interested in building a permanent speedway in Miami, and that was announced in 1994. It had financing from Wayne Huizenga, so Waste Management, owner of the Miami Dolphins, Miami Marlins, and and most famously the owner of Blockbuster Video. So that guy formed a partnership, and they built Homestead Miami Speedway in an area that had been formerly devastated by Hurricane Andrew. The track was originally laid out as a 1.5-mile version of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, very flat and very rectangular. That lasted all of 2 seasons. It was then reconfigured into its current oval layout in 1997, and then In the early 2000s, it was given its current form, which is progressive banking. It is 18 degrees at the top, 16 at the bottom, and it very much resembles the old Atlanta Motor Speedway, which is very much beloved by racers and competitors and fans before it was redone into a quad oval. This is probably the closest that you can get. This is probably the closest that you can get to the old school Atlanta configuration, just with some lower banking. Tonight we have 22 cars signed in for the event. Right now, Caleb Sisk is on the pole with a lap of 160.271 miles an hour. That is nearly half a mile an hour faster than Michael Bennett. The track itself has hosted numerous races. There are 2 configurations of a road course here. It's held IMSA races, prototype races, sports car races of all different kinds. The outright track record here is owned by Sam Hornish at 24.6822 miles an hour. The NASCAR Cup record, 31.527. That's Kevin Harvick, 2019 in the Ford EcoBoost 400. The year before, the year before, Cole Custer set the Xfinity track record at 32.593, and that was in his Ford Mustang GT. Other records that you may be interested in here: the rectangular quad oval, or the rectangular oval configuration, 1996, the late Greg Moore, 28.385. So you can see the track has gotten much faster in its current configuration, from being a rectangle to a flat oval, and now a high banked oval with progressive banking. There is no PJ1 on the course here, which is an absolute delight, because you're going to see guys high up against the wall. You're going to see guys on the bottom. There are drawbacks, and there are pros and there are drawbacks to using both of the lanes here. You can run the middle, although it is my experience, and Ken Daly, you can feel free to chime on in. It is very slick in the middle of that race course.
Oh yeah, with these stock cars, I mean, actually a little bit. I haven't really experienced the middle per se, but the extreme bottom actually is pretty slick as well if you're not careful. If you kind of see on the racetrack that lighter gray below the first seam above the white line there's that lighter gray stuff, and normally, at least under the sun conditions, it is a little bit more slicker than above that seam. But the middle is kind of no man's land kind of sort of thing, because it is pretty rough on the tires.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the middle, and you don't want to get on those seams. It can get extremely slick. Watching Tom Barish complete his laps here. Tom currently 14th on the board, 155.916. So you're seeing a lot of disparity in the times here. You want to run the qualifying lap here right around the bottom of the speedway. You see Tom, he's not quite getting to the bottom. Going through turns 3 and 4 here. He's going to stick right in that middle, maybe a little bit toward the top, but you definitely don't want to touch those seams, and it is going to get extremely light coming off of turn 4. One of the things that you may not realize, unless you've driven the course in iRacing or in real life, the turns supposedly are the same. They're the same radius, they're the same banking, but they are very different. Turns 3 and 4 tend to be a little bit more narrow, it feels like, on exit. Turns 1 and 2 feel a lot more wide to me.
Yeah, and I would agree, and it is very different, because there's going to be some points of the race that you're going to be running the top line in 1 and 2, and you're going to be running the bottom in 3 and 4, and then it's going to inverse on you. You're going to go to the bottom 1 and 2, top 3 and 4. That's what I love about the Homestead Miami Speedway, is it is so diverse, and it is so much change throughout the course of the race that you'll see people vary up the line pretty much all night long.
Absolutely. And with the tire limitations here, it's definitely going to make it interesting, because this track is known for eating tires, and so when you take them and how you take them, especially with the long green flag runs we have here in the NTRL, that could make all the difference as to whether or not you're up front or you're in the back come show and tell time at the end of the race here. We are done with qualifying, and let's go ahead and set the grid for our fans this evening for the Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Homestead 300K. On the pole, Caleb Sisk, 160.271 miles an hour. He's flanked by Matt Sizzler in the 93 Birdies machine, 159.814. Second row, Michael Bennett and Alfie Sharon Jr. Row 3, Chris Gones and Thomas Welch. Row 4, the other Welch, Derek Welch, Series Director, 159.328, good for 7th quick. Brandon Coleman will join him on the outside of row 4. Row 5, Paul Ferdiani, and starting 10th, Sean Roberts. Starting 11th, Justin Lawson. 12th, Mike Corvu. Anthony Williams and Joseph Bennett will go 13th and 14th. Tom Barish and Jesse Redding 15th and 16th. Scott Milner will go 17th. He'll be inside of Chris Klein in 18th. Skylar Harrod will be 19th. And Paul Durkee will round out your top 20. 21st is going to be Jarrett Woodard in the number 79. And then not taking time and starting last in the event, the number 2, the deuce of Ryan Pasacco.
And we do have 2 changes to the running order here after the pace car pulls off the pit lane. Tom Barish will get an end-of-line penalty. Also, playoff driver Chris Gones will have to give up his 5th place starting spot and have to take that Chevrolet down and take it all the way to the back. So a little bit of a hill to climb for Chris Gones here early on. We'll see how he can recover and possibly bring that Chevrolet back up to the front.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to watch. Other cars I'm going to be watching that starting in the back there. Paul Durkee, the points leader. He's got that 5-point edge, but he's going 20th. Skylar Harrod, he's been rapid in a lot of these races. He's starting 19th. And then, you know, the contrast in style. So Derek Welch, he's proven to be extremely fast when it comes to short runs, but maybe sometimes doesn't always have the long run pace. So going to be looking for Derek Welch maybe to make some noise. He's not in the playoff discussion, but Derek Welch is definitely in the discussion when it comes to the race win. Looking at the back, Alfie Sharon Jr., that trackbarmedia.net number 78 machine. He's got all the chrome on it. I love that paint job, Kendall Paul. Look at Michael Bennett in the 64, Caleb Sisk in the 006, Matt Sizzler in the 93. The Birdies machine, is he going to be able to bring home a championship tonight? So many questions, but one guy that we might want to keep an eye on, he's been consistent. He's always played the long game, and the long game can be extremely effective here. I'm going to go ahead and put I'm going to go ahead and shout it out. That's going to be the Paul Walker machine, the number 10 or the number 33, Sean Roberts. He's starting 10th today. He always seems to play that long strategy, and let's see if that can work out for him. Meanwhile, Kendall, the pace car is about ready to duck on off, and we are one more race to go here in the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series. Barney has the green flag in the air. There's the green flag. The race is on. And Caleb Sisk is going to lead him down into turn 1.
Caleb Sisk, Matt Sizzler leads them off in turn number 1. Caleb Sisk going to bring his Chevrolet down to the bottom of the racetrack. They're all going to single file out for the top 5 now, and maybe also partially the top 10 are all going to single file out here in the early going of this one. Maybe a little bit of Goodyear tire saving methods already at play going into turn number 3.
Absolutely, and we'll show them. Going through turn 3, they're coming out of turn 4. To the stripe we come, and we are already one lap into the 130 scheduled here at Homestead, Miami. Caleb Sisk is your leader. He's followed by Matt Sizzler. He's second. They're chased by Michael Bennett in third. Alfie Sharon Jr. is fourth. Derek Welch has moved his way from 7th to 5th. Thomas Welch 6th. Brandon Coleman 7th. Paul Ferdiani is 8th. Justin Roberts is 9th, and Sean Roberts is 9th. Justin Lawson comes into 10th. Already, we're going to go to the back here, and we're going to take a look at Chris Gones because he started shotgun on this field. He is already 19th. He's moving up. He's got Paul Durkee in front of him. Meanwhile, Matt Sizzler sets the fastest lap. But let's kind of watch Chris Gones here as he intends to move his way to the front of the field rather quickly. But how much strain is he going to put on those tires, Kendall Paul, as he goes?
Yeah, he's going to have to put a little bit more strain than the rest of the field, and so does Paul Durkee to try to get through the field. And track position does matter in these races. especially with strategy as well. Already seeing the variations of the line. You're seeing some of the guys run up towards the wall. Some of them really close to the outside retaining wall, and then some of them just wrapping the bottom lane like Chris Goins is. Chris Goins making a nice little cut way through the field right now as he's going to pass 13 to Paul Durkee, and he's going to set his sights on the 31 machine of Scott Miller to get that spot away. He will off of turn number 2 to move Chris Goins up another spot on his march up to the front.
Yeah, Chris Goins, he's wrapping the bottom of that racetrack all the way around. That is the short way. It's usually a little bit harder on the right rear in my experience. You balance that out by running Caleb Sisk just goes quick. You can balance that out by running the top. You run the top, it tends to tighten the car up, use the right front up a little bit more. But you see the flames coming out of the pipes too. These guys are going to be working the throttle hard this evening, trying to hunt for purchase with those Goodyear tires along the very rough. It's an old surface. If memory serves, Kendale, they have not repaved this track in about 20 years, so it's very rough. It's got some character, as Dale Jr. likes to say it. There's a bump right there. If you're driving around Homestead, Miami, if you don't know it, there's a bump there coming off of turn 4. And one of the reasons it's a lot different, 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, the transition in turn number 4 is different because of pit road.
I did not know that, but looks like maybe the battle for third when it starts heating up. Again, I'm pretty sure you're right in the back bumper of Michael Bennett now. Those two Chevrolet Camaros are going to start to do battle for that third spot. After Sharon Jr., though, he's going to reserve to be a little bit more patient to try to get around them. We are only lap 7 of 130 laps complete, so no need to push those Goodyear tires to get around the Michael Bennett machine. But they still run 3-4 respectively up in the top 5.
They most certainly do. Caleb Sisk, your leader. Sizzler second. Bennett third. Alfie Sharon Jr. once third. He is fourth. And you get a little bit of a ways back to Derek Welch in fifth. But here comes Alfie Sharon Jr. Now that's the strategy right there. You get right up underneath the guy's rear deck lid, right up under that very small rear spoiler on these Xfinity cars. And what does that do when Alfie Sharon Jr. does that to Michael Bennett?
Yeah, it gets the car loose, and that's how you play quote-unquote games with the guy in front of you. I mean, these cars, unlike the next-gen cars where you have to be like right there on their back bumper, with these cars you can be about a foot to 2 feet away, that's not a car length away, from the car to start affecting that arrow in front of you. And that will make them burn up the rear tires and everything. If they're not careful, there is ways to counteract it, just by the throttle or the brake. To prevent that car from getting loose, but it does affect the aero quite a bit in these Xfinity cars.
Most certainly does. Riding on board with Alfie Sharon Jr. And you see him, he gets down, almost touches the apron down there in turns number 1 and 2. And here you'll kind of see the transition, Kendale. Coming off a 2, it's nice and wide almost. Now watch him when he comes off of turn number 4 here. You're going to see the transition just look a lot more narrow as it comes off here, and it's a little bit more flat. And maybe that's more pronounced in the open wheel cars that I'm used to, but these guys definitely will feel that. Alfie Sharon Jr. continues to stalk Michael Bennett going into turn number 1.
And for the first time, he's going to bring that Chevrolet Camaro all the way up towards the outside retaining wall to try to get a run on Michael Bennett. He has decided that the time is now to go. We're going to see him pull right alongside of Michael Bennett. Possibly a crossover here working. He's going to hit the apron, and that's going to bring that Chevrolet Camaro up a little bit and kill all that momentum that he just gained. We're coming a little loose off of turn number 4, so he's going to have to fall back behind Michael Bennett, reevaluate the situation, and try to get back around him as Caleb Sisk and Matt Sizzler are starting to run away.
That's absolutely right, and that takes so long to set up. It took him 4 or 5 laps to get that move ready to go on Michael Bennett. Unfortunately, Alfie Sharon Jr. hits the apron. He's still in good shape, still kind of waiting to make his move, but it's going to take several laps to rebuild that run. Another guy on the move, that's Sean Roberts in the Paul Walker machine. He started 10th. He's just moved in front of the World Poker Tour machine of Paul Ferdiani. He's now 8th, and he's hunting down Brandon Coleman for 7th. Sean Roberts 2 laps before was 2/10 quicker than Brandon Coleman in the High Rock Vodka Chevy Camaro in front of him. So that's Supra for Paul, or for I keep wanting to call him Paul Roberts, but that Supra for Sean Roberts is moving forward, Kendale.
Yeah, he is, and he got the Paul Ferdiani playoff contender right there behind him. Sean Roberts is also playoff contender. They are been just kind of duking it out. Paul Ferdiani's been just right there on the back bumper, affecting that arrow like we saw with Michael Bennett and Albert Sharon Jr. We'll see if we can see the march forward from Sean Roberts a little bit more here, as he's just content on that dialing up that low lane right now. No need to push the Goodyear tires and burn your stuff up by going the top lane right now.
Yeah, we are 13 laps into a scheduled 130. 10% of the race has already been complete. Watching Brandon Coleman, he's going to go to work on Thomas Welch. These two have been within a couple of tenths of each other for the last 4 or 5 laps, so wanted to check in on them. Another car that's come quite a bit toward the front, that's the number 3 of Skylar Harrod. He started in the back of this deal as well. He's up to 12th. He's trying to work around Chris Klein in the 51 Snap-on machine. You've got Skunkworks Graphics on the side of the number 3 Toyota Camry. And look who's worked his way into that picture. That's the 41 of Chris Gones.
Yeah, Chris Gones has had the march forward as he's going to work on the 51 of Chris Klein. We'll see what they elect to do here. He's going to go to the bottom of the racetrack and elect to take the fresh air clear down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to pull up alongside the 51. He should stay side by side here on the straightaway. And 51 actually hits the wall a little bit here. Coming out of turn number 4, we'll see if he can clear him in turn number 1 to gain one more spot, which looks like he's going to do. We'll see if Chris Klein can get that momentum from the top side, which I don't think is going to come here. So Chris Gones up another spot here to the 13th spot. So he's up 1 from his originally starting 21st here.
Meanwhile, we're watching Skylar Harrod. He's going to make the pass on Joseph Bennett. So put Skylar Harrod up to 11th. That's going to move Joseph Bennett to 12th. And he's going to fall into the clutches of Chris Gones here pretty shortly. And always want to kind of keep track of Chris Gones. He's been one of the more competitive drivers here in the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series. And he's proven so tonight. He had to start in the back due to a penalty. Chris Gones is up 8 spots, and he's looking for number 9, hunting down Joseph Bennett, going down the backstretch into turn number 3.
While that's all going on, we're going to battle for third once again. Alfred Sharon Jr. has climbed to the bottom of the side of the racetrack of Michael Bennett. He will clear him on the front straightaway, so give Alfred Sharon Jr. up to third now, as he's going to have a little bit of gap between him and Matt Sizzler now. But Michael Bennett, he says, wait a minute, I'm going to try one more thing. He's going to take his Chevrolet Camaro to the top side of the racetrack to get the momentum. And he's going to pull right alongside Alfred Sharon Jr. again. So a battle for third once again. Bennett wants it back. Alfred Sharon Jr. trying to defend it.
You know what that looks like to me, Kendall Paul? That looks like a great way to burn up your tires. These guys fighting like that. Alfie Sharon Jr. takes it to the top of the speedway. He gets all the way up next to the wall. He's going to hold the spot going down the front straightaway one more time. But these two, while they're doing battle, they've done 2 things. They've let Derek Welch into the fight for third. That is Derek at the back or the top or the bottom right of your screen as he hits the wall a little bit. But that's Derek Welch that's creeping into the picture, along with Thomas Welch and the Mountain Dew machine. Sean Roberts has disposed of Justin Lawson and Brandon Coleman, by the way. He is very quietly up to 7th, but the battle for third rages. Michael Bennett going to drill the top side one more time. He's got the momentum coming down the front straightaway. He's going to sneak right to the right rear quarter panel of the 78 of Alfie Sharon Jr. He'll take it to the top in turn 1 and 2. Can he stay alongside and make that work down the backstretch?
He's going to be right on the... He should actually keep the spot here. No, Michael Bennett, he's going to get another run. We'll see if he pulls right alongside Alfred Sharon Jr. again, which he does, and all I can hear from these Goodyear tires is just the screaming from them early on in this one. You only got 2 sets of tires, so you got to choose your battles wisely, and, you know, with this battle going on, this has allowed Matt Sizzler and Caleb Sisk to kind of run away from this pack. It gave Caleb Sisk a 2-second lead against third place. So a 2-car breakaway towards the front. Maybe this has finally settled as Alfred Sharon Jr. is going to settle into third and maybe start running away from Michael Bennett. But you just got to think, how hurt are those Goodyear tires?
Well, they're definitely hurting. These two have dropped almost a full second to Matt Sizzler since this battle began. Now, Alfie Sharon Jr. has got he's got some space in that trackbarmedia.net number 78 Chevrolet Camaro. Michael Bennett is falling into the clutches of Derek Welch. We do have some other developments here. Paul Ferdiani has brought his machine to pit lane. The number 44 is exiting the pits. He came in for a quick service 4 tire. Well, we're assuming. Well, I don't want to assume anything. That could have been gas only. Yeah, it could have been. Well, it could have been gas only. 7.6 seconds on the pit lane. He is going to come back out 1 lap down. Tom Barish has retired the number 55 after early contact. He will finish 21st in shotgun on the field. Watching Paul Ferdiani work his way back up to speed here, 1 lap down, and we'll see very shortly if there was a new set of shoes that went on the 44 and whether or not he can lay down some hot ones.
I just went back and looked. He did not take any tires, just Sunoco Racing Fuel on board that 44 World Program Machine Tour. So a little bit of strategy. We saw Derek Welch a couple weeks ago pull out a wild card strategy that worked out for him. So a wild card strategy from Paul Ferdiani coming down on lap 20 to get Sunoco Racing Fuel.
Yeah, and always interesting to see the different strategies that come into play in these NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity races. With a short tire sets, you're always looking to do something a little bit different than your competitors, and you don't always know, Kendale, which one is going to turn out right. Paul Durkee makes the decision to short pit early, gas only. He is back out 1 lap down in 20th. Meanwhile, back up front, Michael Bennett cooled off his tires. He has now resumed the fight with Alfie Sharon Jr. That's 3rd and 4th. Want to give a shout out to our leaders. That's Caleb Sisk working the 006. He is the leader. The 93 Birdies machine of Matt Sisler is 2nd. They're separated by about 8-9 tenths of a second, give or take, where they are on the speedway. Alfie Sharon Jr. is another 2nd behind them in 3rd. You see Michael Bennett. He is 4th behind them. And then you've got about another 8 tenths back, 7-8 tenths back to Derek Welch and Thomas Welch, and they're separated by 3 tenths. And so that's the number 1 and the number 9, respectively. Sean Roberts has moved himself into 7th in the Paul Walker Supra. He is more or less by himself. Justin Lawson in the 20. He is 8th in the People Ready machine. Skylar Herod, he's worked himself all the way from the back to 9th and cracking the top 10. How about that? Chris Gones in the number 41 Chevrolet. He is 10th, and he's looking to get around Skylar Herod for 9th. This would be the best battle on the speedway, by the way, Kendall.
Yeah, for sure it is, as everyone's kind of spread out here now. We'll see what Chris Gones decides to do with the Skylar Herod machine in front of him. He's got to start making a little bit more march forward. If this does go save greens, Caleb Sisk is just in command of this race, and he's kind of followed Skylar Herod throughout the outside the top 10 to get here. Is it time to dispose of Skylar Herod, or is he going to stay behind him? We'll see and wait and find out. We've also seen with the Alfie Sharon Jr. battle with Michael Bennett, it takes a couple laps to set up one of these battles, so something to keep an eye out for. Also, something I kind of wanted to mention as well, we've been seeing Justin Lawson just in front of this battle. He's been utilizing the top lane in the racetrack pretty much almost now the whole lateral part of this race now. We'll see how those Goodyear tires react to that as Skylar Herod and Chris Gones starting to catch that 20 machine.
Just kind of riding on board a little bit with Chris Gones. He's going to drop to the bottom side of Skylar Herod going through turns 1 and 2. Just kind of looking at the tacks, seeing they're side by side now. So let's come back out and watch that battle. But Chris Gones, I was looking to see if he was saving fuel, shutting the car off, doing those types of things. Did not see any evidence of that, but we're still early, 27 laps into 130. Chris Gones going to get it done on Skylar Herod, coming onto the front straight, going to pull up in front, clear himself of the number 3, move Chris Gones to 9th, and we'll drop Skylar Herod back to 10th. Kind of continue our march through the field. Guys that we may not have shown today so far, that is Chris Klein in the 51. He's followed by the 21 of Jesse Redding, and you can see Jesse there. That is 11th and 12th. Brandon Coleman is 13th in the number 11 High Rock Vodka car. And then you've got kind of a wad of them here. 14th, Joseph Bennett. He's being pursued by Paul Durkee. And Paul, remember, has that 5 bonus point advantage, Kendale. So he's going to want to try to get himself forward because he doesn't have to win this race to win the championship. He can do it on points, whereas everybody else kind of has to finish in front of everybody else. So kind of keep an eye on Paul Durkee. Could just be kind of saving his stuff and taking her easy. No reason to go 30 laps into a 130 lapper, which is about where we're at now. Got Joseph Bennett there right in front of him. And then behind Paul Durkee is Paul Ferdiani. Now remember, Ferdiani stopped 8 laps ago. Lap 21 he came. filled the tank up with Sunoco Racing fuel, did not take one of his sets of tires, and so he's out there on the same tire as everybody else, but he's got a lot more gas. Keep an eye out for Paul Ferdiani and watch him go long. Theoretically, when everybody else stops under green, he'll be the leader of this thing. Mike Corvu, 16th. That is the 97. Get a good look at Mike Corvu there. Anthony Williams is in the number 5. He currently runs 17th. Paint scheme that I enjoy so very much. The gold, red, and blue Valvoline colors of Scott Milner. He's running those 18th. And then another one that I enjoy in the last car that we'll go to, Jarrett Woodard in the early 1990s Dan Gurney Toyota colors. Do enjoy that one as well. I wish somebody would run that scheme in the Xfinity series, Kendale.
Yeah, for sure. It's a nice looking paint scheme there on that 79 machine. I don't know.
Whoa, he's drifting it.
Maybe a little bit of broadcaster's curse for him. He wanted to give us a little bit of a show there as he's running in the 19th spot. But yeah, good looking paint scheme overall on that Toyota Supra.
Let's kind of watch Jarrett Woodard as he navigates the Homestead Miami Speedway. Give you an idea what these drivers are going through. He's going to go all the way up, almost to the chip here, going down the front, off the throttle, let it float down into the corner, and he's waiting for that baby to grip up. About 5,800 on the tack, and then very smooth back into the power. You see the hands counter steering. That tells me that he's fighting a bit of a loose race car there, Kendale.
Yeah, for sure. And now we got a battle for the 8th spot now. Chris Goins has caught up to the 20 of Justin Lawson. He pulled right alongside him in the corner. Justin Lawson is looking to bring his Chevrolet Camaro up to the top lane of the racetrack. Chris Goins down at the bottom, so we got an interesting little battle here for the 8th spot. Justin Lawson, he's just going to get the momentum and pull away from Chris Goins once again, preventing Chris Goins to utilizing the whole racetrack to come back up, possibly green flag pit stops here soon.
Yeah, we should be looking at green flag stops. And speaking of green flag stops, there comes Justin Lawson. He's going to bring the number 20 machine down the pit lane. He's going to be followed by Jesse Redding and Paul Durkee. So those three machines are all going to come to pit lane. And let's follow the stop for Justin Lawson. Is he going to get tires, or is this going to be gas only here for the car of Justin Lawson? He's going to pull in the pit box, hits his marks, a little bit of rear tire lockup, and no tires on that car. Jesse Redding also no tires. And lastly, Paul Durkee is not getting tires as well. All three cars down and away. And that will trigger wholesale pit stops now.
And that brings leader Caleb Sisk down to the pit lane. Also second place Matt Sizzler, Alfred Sharon Jr. down to the pit lane as well. Derek Welch, Skylar Harrod, Anthony Williams, Jared Woodard, all those guys coming down the pit lane right now. Most likely just Sunoco Racing Fuel for all of them. I'm watching the 4 spots there towards the front. All Sunoco Racing Fuel on those machines. So expecting to see the rest of them come in here in the next 2 to 3 laps.
Bit hot in here for Skylar Harrod. We're watching him come down pit lane. We're going to get up on the roll bar of the number 3 because he was sideways in the middle of pit road. Watching him navigate that car down to the speed limit here at the Homestead Miami Speedway along pit road. He's over to the right, looking for his pit box. And what happens to Skylar Harrod? He just flat drove by his box. So we'll stop, car in reverse, and Skylar Harrod gonna pull it into his pit box. But that is a costly mistake on pit road. Any time lost on pit lane can be extremely hard to overcome, and that's worth what, 5, 6, 7 seconds there. He was 40.1 on the pit lane. Caleb Sisk 33.4, so nearly 7 seconds lost for Skylar Harrod in the number 3 machine.
I just want to direct attention to Sean Roberts. Now he's down the pit lane. The first guy we've seen take tires. He's taking 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco Racing Fuel, and that 33 Paul Walker machine for Sean Roberts. He's going to bring that car, Toyota Supra, back out on the racetrack. So he's the only one with fresh Goodyear tires here that I know of. We'll have to watch and see how that all shakes out for Sean Roberts. So a outlier in the strategy. We'll see how that all shakes out.
You know, and just kind of thinking about that, Kendall, Paul, we're 37 laps into this race. Another 37 would put it at 74. Another 37 after that. Help me out. I went to Ball State. What's 111, right? So he's going to have to do. He's going to have to do at least one double stint, but theoretically, Sean Roberts is going to rocket to the front of this race. Let's keep an eye on him here. He's just now getting those good years up to temperature, and Sean Roberts took the time penalty. He was 14 seconds in the box, 38 seconds flat on pit road as opposed to 33.4 seconds on pit road and 9.5 in the box for Caleb Sisk. But let's see what the lap times are this time by. He's going to get his first flyer on those new tires. He's going to need to make up. About 4.5 seconds from the pit stop. First lap, first time by 34.089. Caleb Sisk, his last time by 34.836. So Sean Roberts is going to turn that 33 Paul Walker Supra into a rocket ship and see if he can't grab the lead of this baby.
Yeah, I'd like to call from Sean Roberts. If you don't think you have the speed here now, might as well give your tires. Well, nobody else has them. Make up some time where nobody else does. He'll just have to play some a little bit of defense later on in the strategy. I also like to point out Chris Goins. He's made it up to the 5th spot, I thought. We'll see if he's flying across straight in the cycle round. Yeah, he does. So he's up to the 5th spot now once again. So, or not once again, but back to where he should have started before his end-of-line penalty at the start of this race. So Chris Goins has a little bit of work to do to get to the leader of 7 seconds. But maybe a little bit of problems with Derek Welch as he's packed that machine on the hauler.
Yeah, Derek Welch came down pit lane and retired the number 1 car. He will finish 20th here today at Homestead, Miami. Of course, not in the championship, but a good run gone to naught for Derek Welch. He'll retire his machine in 20th. So 19 cars remain. They're headed by Caleb Sisk in the 006, and we'll go ahead and show him. Should always show the leader if you can. Matt Sizzler is second, and Matt Sizzler has a rear view mirror full of Alfie Sharon Jr. And just to keep tabs, too, on Sean Roberts, that cycle saw him end up in 6th. He's 8 seconds behind the leader. His last time by, 34.541, 35 flat for Caleb Sisk. 35.172 for Matt Sizzler and 35 flat for Alfie Sharon Jr. and Michael Bennett. So the trend of being a half a second a lap quicker continues to favor Sean Roberts. How long will that favor him? He's just gone by Chris Goins. He's about 2.5 seconds behind Michael Bennett in this battle that rages on for second, and that's second and third. They've got 4th behind them. And then we're anticipating Sean Roberts' arrival on the scene here in about 5 laps. 6 laps, maybe.
Yeah, I'm monitoring the driver's radio when Sean Roberts came to the back bumper of the Chris Goins machine. Chris Goins just said, "Go around me. I don't got nothing for you, no reason to fight it out." So Chris Goins went to the top. Like you saw, Sean Roberts just flew by him on the inside. So, again, picking your battles and situational awareness, a big thing in the sport.
Speaking of situational awareness, Matt Sizzler had situational opposite lock on that 93 coming off of turn number 2 that time out. It's going to enable Alfie Sharon Jr. to march right past and hit second place. So reset the field for you. We're 43 laps into 130 here at the Homestead Miami Speedway, 44 now. Caleb Sisk is your leader. Alfie Sharon Jr. has grabbed second from Matt Sizzler in third. Michael Bennett is 4th, and Sean Roberts on those new tires, he is 5th, and he is going to be right to the back of Michael Bennett here within the next lap. And Bennett has also caught Sizzler and Sharon a little bit, but we'll see what those new tires mean. We'll see what those new tires mean very shortly. Look at the speed differential. Sean Roberts just pulls right up the back. It's almost like you have to hit the brakes not to hit the guy in front of you, Kendall.
And he for sure had to there, as he had a huge run. Michael Bennett did not allow him to have the bottom of the racetrack, so he had to check up that Toyota Supra. He will get around Michael Bennett very easily. He'll set his sights now on Matt Sizzler, which will probably get him here on the straightaway here. But yeah, definitely 100%. He is a lot faster than this whole field that is here early on, but we'll see how that shakes out later in the run. He's going to get right by Matt Sizzler with ease. He's going to set his sights now on Alfie Sharon Jr., so he just made up 2 spots in 1 lap.
Yeah, we're on board with Sean Roberts. Watch the closing rate as he goes down here into turn number 1. Alfie Sharon Jr. is about 3/10 ahead. They're going to come out of here about even Steven. Just right up to the back bumper, and we'd like to thank Chevelle Hamilton for joining us this evening. Chevelle, thank you for tuning it in. There goes Sean Roberts. He's going to work it to the bottom, and again, no fight from Alfie Sharon Jr. He's going to let the freshly shod Supra of Sean Roberts head straight for the bottom of the speedway, make Sean Roberts second. Now, here's the kick. Sean Roberts is 4.6 seconds behind this man, Caleb Sisk.
You'll see how long it takes him to get to him, but we do got a battle for the third spot now. Michael Bennett's going to pull alongside the Matt Sizzler machine. He's going to attempt the pass, but unable to do so in turn number 2. He'll have to pull back in line of Matt Sizzler. This is for the battle for fourth. Michael Bennett once again going to try again on the inside lane here of Matt Sizzler. He's going to take it to the extreme low, wrap the white line. Matt Sizzler going to float up the racetrack a little bit, get the momentum around. They're going to be equal to his door there. He's going to probably get a crossover here, but Matt Sizzler not going to let him just have it. But Michael Bennett does prevail here out of turn number 2. Move Michael Bennett up to the 4th spot. Matt Sizzler back down to 5th.
I was hoping Matt Sizzler would crank that baby up to the high side and give us a view of what it's like to ride the rim, like Dale Earnhardt Jr. or Harry Gant or Richard Petty, or pick your old school driver that loves to run the high side. Kyle Larson maybe would be the equivalent, but not to be. That 93 looks awfully loose, Kendall Paul, here as we cross the line. 49 down of 130, and we'll get back, give the man his due. Caleb Sisk is now 2.5 seconds in the lead. Sean Roberts, 0.9 of a second quicker that last time by, 35.047 to a 34.183. Sean Roberts is coming.
Yeah, he is coming to Caleb Sisk in a hurry. One thing to kind of keep an eye out also for is, will the lap times kind of start to equal out as Sean Roberts gets into the later of his run. He's on lap 13 on these fresh Goodyear tires. Caleb Sisk, of course, he's been on his Goodyear tires for the whole 50 laps duration of this race. But Caleb Sisk, he's done a great job in the race lead, commanding this race. Definitely a favorite going into this one. We'll see how he manages with this different strategy, as he will put the number 11 of Brandon Coleman 1 lap down here on lap 51.
Now, you would assume that next time through, Sisk, Sharon, Bennett, Sizzler, all of those guys are going to take their tires. I'm going to go on a limb here, Kendall, and I'm going to assume that Sean Roberts is going to save his last set. He was, again, 0.9 quicker that time by. He's chopped it to under a second. At this rate, he's going to be by Caleb Sisk in a couple of laps. But you would assume that Sean Roberts is going to take tires the next time, or is going to take gas only next time, just to leave himself the final stint with fresh rubber. And so that would mean he's going to be about 4.5 to 5 seconds quicker on pit road. So whatever his advantage is when the cycle starts again, add 4 seconds, and it took him 17 laps to get to the lead. So just kind of keep those things in mind for the next pit stop cycle. Sean Roberts is going straight to the front. He's going to turn just dead left, go underneath Caleb Sisk, and I don't think Sisk is going to fight him here.
Yeah, there is no reason to fight. Sean Roberts he is going to get around Caleb Sisk, whether Caleb Sisk likes it or not, with those fresh Goodyear tires. So you can move Sean Roberts up to the point now here in the mid portion of this race, and he's just going to start driving away. And that's what he needs to do right now. Is he needs to create himself a nice little buffer here. Not too much on the Goodyear tires, because you do have to double stint at least one of these sets. If you plan on double stint in this set, take care of him now and just continue to run away from Caleb Sisk to build that gap, because you're going to play defense here on the next part of the strategy.
Absolutely correct. Now, if the roles are reversed, what I'm trying to get at, if the roles are reversed here, Sean Roberts effectively has, as the lead hits 1 second, he's effectively got a 5.5 second lead, because there's a 4.5 second difference in the pit stops for tires versus gas only. So kind of keep that in mind. Alfie Sharon Jr. is third. He is 7.3 seconds in arrears. Michael Bennett is fourth. He's 8 seconds back. Chris Goins has made his way to fifth, but he is 9.5 seconds down to your leader, Sean Roberts. And Sean Roberts is just pulling away. Last time by, Sean Roberts 34.504, 35.273 for Caleb Sisk. And that's not even the story. Alfie Sharon Jr. 35.620. So Sean Roberts is, yes, 6 or 7 tenths a lap quicker than Caleb Sisk, but he's a full second faster than the entire rest of the field here, Kendale.
Yeah, and he's doing a wonderful job there. He's going to come up to the battle of Paul Ferniany and Paul Ferniany and Justin Wardard to put them a lap down here shortly, and he's already increased that. Like you said earlier, he's already increased it up to 2.1, and it's rapidly gaining for him. So he's put himself in a good spot right now. He's just got to continue ticking off these laps and just got to keep thinking about that strategy.
Absolutely. Watching Paul Ferniany here. We'll go back to Sean Roberts. We'll take a look out the windshield. We'll take a look out the windshield of Paul Ferniany as he hits pit road. And so let's take a look at see what Paul Ferniany does here. He went off strategy. He took gas only on the first run. Brandon Coleman has also been in. Brandon Coleman did take tires. Let's see what Paul Ferniany does here on lap 57. I'm assuming that since he did not take tires the first time, he's going to grab some the second. Here he is, hits his marks. Right sides go up. So we're going to see 4 sticker tires on the 44 of Paul Ferniany. Meanwhile, I was going to say, let's take a look at the windshield of Sean Roberts as he navigates around Jarrett Woodard. Now, Woodard's not having a bad day. He is 17th. He is on the lead lap, at least momentarily. But just look at the difference that the new tires make. Jarrett Woodard went to the top of the speedway. Sean Roberts dove right underneath him. And we'll get back out here. And that's adios, amigos. And he's got almost a full straightaway now on Caleb Sisk, 3.5 seconds.
He for sure does. And just kind of looking around the racetrack, everyone's pretty much single filed out here once again.
Scott Milner and Thomas Welch are going at it. That's 8th and 9th. Good run up to the front for Scott Milner. He was at one point in the event running last. And I got to believe that Scott Milner was just back there kind of playing possum, saving his tires, Kendale.
For sure. And I mean, it's just a different strategy that he's trying to play out. Be interesting how that one shakes out. And you're kind of, Justin Lawson, he's going to take a little bit of paint off the outside retaining wall. But I was just going to point out Justin Lawson, you were talking about earlier, someone riding the lip or right on top of, on the, goodness gracious, right on the top side of the racetrack. Justin Lawson, he's been doing that all race. He is like only probably a couple inches off the wall, using the cushion of air up there to his advantage. He's been running that high lane pretty good. Every once in a while he'll catch the outside retaining wall, but he's running that outside lane pretty well as he's caught up to the number 93 machine of Matt Sizzler. So maybe a battle for 6 here shortly, as Matt Sizzler's kind of unfortunately in a free fall right now. It kind of seems like as he's just kind of losing spots here.
Yeah, Matt Sizzler's going into the 36-second bracket, 36.105 that time by. We're right on board with Justin Lawson. I wanted to give the fans a sense of what it's like to run the fence here. And you can't get much closer than Justin Lawson. He's got the number 20 right up there against it. Michael Bennett, by the way, has gone to third, put Alfie Sharon Jr. back to fourth, and Chris Goins is right there. So we've got a 3-way battle. But what I was going to say about Scott Milner is he gets by Matt Sizzler as well. Scott Milner, by going slow early, his last time by, he was 0.3 of a second a lap quicker than Caleb Sisk. And other than Sean Roberts, Scott Milner is the fastest car on the racetrack by a lot.
So a little bit of Stephen Goodyear tires. Justin Lawson getting the outside retaining wall once again, so maybe struggling with the handling of his race car. But yeah, Scott Milner, he's liking the handling of his Valvoline Gold Toyota Supra.
Meanwhile, we're 3 wide for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. That's Goins on the top, Sharon Jr. in the middle, Michael Bennett on the bottom. Chris Goins is going to get 2 for the price of 1 here. Move Chris Goins to 3rd, 11 seconds. 12, 11 something seconds. Sean Roberts has gone down pit road. So Caleb Sisk, move him back to the lead. Sean Roberts is going to bring the 33 into pit lane. We're going to watch it just to see what he does here. As we suspected, no tires. We're just going to put gas in the number 33 Toyota Supra, and away he goes. And that is going to bring wholesale pit stops one more time. I think Matt Sisler, Chris Klein on the pit lane. Now, I'm probably not going to lose any money if I bet that I see the jacks go up on the 93 here.
And they do indeed. He's going to take 4 fresh Goodyear tires on that 3 or 4 birdies Toyota here on lap 63. So the first little wave of pit stops underway. We'll see when the rest decide to come down the pit lane. I would imagine some of them are trying to play it out long just on the fuel strategy side of things. But like I said, Caleb Sisk back to the race lead. He is 29 laps on his stint. So he'll make 30 here now, so we'll expect him here in about 2 to 3, maybe even 4 laps from Caleb Sisk. Sorry.
That's okay. We're watching Thomas Welch. He's going to take 4 Goodyear tires in the number 9 Diet Mountain Dew Chevrolet. That's Thomas Welch. He started 6th today. He's been up amongst the front runners for most of the evening, and he'll get 4 tires and get down and away here. He'll come back out running in the 14th position. Meanwhile, back up at the front, we're looking at Caleb Sisk, once again your leader, although he's going to bring it down pit lane. There's Paul Durkee right in front of him, effectively a lap down. Now let's see what Sisk does here. So these cars have not taken tires, correct? It's only been Sean Roberts that has taken tires. We do not believe that Milner took them early, although. So he would have just been conserving. Yeah, no, that's tires going on the Caleb Sisk machine. So his first set at lap 66, roughly halfway through the event.
And I think if it wasn't his strategy in the beginning to take tires here, I think it is now just to kind of counteract the Sean Roberts strategy there to make up some of that time as he's off and away. So we'll see those fast lap times from Caleb Sisk now from that 006. Pretty much everyone that's other than Sean Roberts, they have elected to take fresh Goodyear tires. So this is allowed right now, effectively right now. Chris Goins in the lead here now. He's on lap 31 of his stint. So we'll see him shortly down the pit lane. We'll see if he takes 4 fresh Goodyear tires or what he decides to do. But really, what it seems like there's 2 definite strategies. Is we have the Sean Roberts strategy, and then everyone else that is taking 4 fresh Goodyear tires on this pit stop.
Yeah, watching Chris Goins right now. He's got about a 1 second, give or take, lead on Michael Bennett. Scott Milner has worked his way up to 3rd. What a sterling run from that Valvoline machine. We would think they went 37 on the first one, so they're going to be due here really anytime between now and lap 74, 75, something like that. But that would be a huge boon for a guy like Scott Milner, because he's been able to save his way up to 3rd. He's going to have the fresh tires the whole way home if he can make that work. Same for Chris Goins. So the longer you stay out here, right, you're going to have 55, 60 laps, depending on how you want to do it. Coming to the flag, you're going to have essentially 2 runs flat out with sticker tires, and you're going to have short fuel on the last one. That sounds like a lot of fun to me, Kendall Paul, watching Brandon Coleman get awfully loose in front of the leader.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, to kind of point that out, is Chris Goins, we've seen him in the past go long, and that's has won him races for going that 5-6 extra laps in the whole field. And it could also pay out also if there is a late race caution here. We'll trap a whole bunch of people a lap down. They'll have to get the free pass or whatever. But it's just a matter of time. Chris Goins, Michael Bennett, Scott Milner will have to come down to get 4 fresh Goodyear tires. I'm really interested to see how Scott Milner comes out of this one. As we see Michael Bennett now, he's going to bring his Chevrolet Camaro down to the pit lane.
The reason I pulled that up, the last lap for Scott Milner before he hits pit road 35, 120. Chris Gones, 35.556. Scott Milner was the fastest car at the end of that strategy, and he was definitely catching the leaders. Big kudos to the driver of the 31 Valvoline Toyota. He's going to pull it to his pit box, and it appears as though that's gas only, Kendall Paul. 9.4 seconds in the box, down and away.
Yeah, Michael Bennett, he's in his pit box. He actually slid through his pit box, so he had to back up. He's putting 4 fresh Goodyear tires, so that's going to cost him a little bit of time. He's off and away with those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. We'll see how that all shakes out with him. Chris Gones, though, your leader right now, just waiting for his... Oh, he is down pit lane now, bringing his Blue Chew number 41 Chevrolet Camaro down to the attention of his crew.
And this is all it takes, race fans, right here. Michael Bennett goes to get into his box, locks up the rears, and just a little bit past it. You've got to stop on the marks in iRacing for the mechanics to begin servicing the car. That's a tough break for Michael Bennett, but it does cost him roughly a second and a half. Just that one sliding mistake. Can't have that. You can't have that in a field this tight.
You know, absolutely not. Races are won or lost on the pit lane. You'll hear virtual guys say it. You'll hear the real guys say it in real life that races can be won or lost down the pit lane. We've seen that on countless events.
You know, we have, and Sean Roberts has gone back to the lead here momentarily, and I say momentarily because Caleb Sisk is now 5.4 seconds in arrears, and again, we keep the last lap number up there to kind of help our fans track the strategies. Caleb Sisk on those fresh tires, 33.721. Sean Roberts, 35 flat. So that 5-second advantage is going to evaporate here within the next 3 laps, and you're going to see Caleb Sisk go back to the front of this race. Now, you want to talk about pit lane. I've had my own hijinks when it comes to pit road. In the Elite Racing League Indianapolis 500 with Mark Janes on the call, a couple thousand people watching, I once famously double-clicked the pit speed limiter button in my Indy car and lost the Indianapolis 500. Not my best day. Took a speeding penalty, wound up 10th. What might have been, without that 40-second penalty, Kendall Paul, I would have beaten Robert Malechka home by 8 seconds. It was not my best day, but you know, it happens, right? So all of my feelings go out to Michael Bennett sliding through the pit box there. That's always a tough break. Meanwhile, Sean Roberts continues to lead it, but Caleb Sisk is the only way you can say it is he's coming.
Yeah, he is reeling away at his reel on to Sean Roberts. He has, we're in Miami, he got that grouper right in front of him. He's just reeling away down to, we'll see across the stripe, now down to 2.9 seconds. So I think he just made up 1 second on Sean Roberts within a lap. So that Chevrolet Camaro is on a rocket ship as he's on a mission to catch Sean Roberts.
Yeah, let's ride on that rocket. Caleb Sisk now 2.2 seconds behind Sean Roberts for the lead. And I'll tell you who else has turned it into a rocket. That's going to be Chris Gones. He just set the fastest lap of the race. Chris Gones does. He's running 6th, 33.431. And that's noted on our scoring pylon by the purple number next to the 41 of Chris Gones running 6th. He is 19.5 seconds behind the lead, and this is the lead. You're watching Caleb Sisk. You almost want to get out the Jaws soundtrack for this one. He is coming 1.1 seconds quicker that last time through.
And I'm sure that sound of Jaws is just ringing in Sean Roberts' ears, but there's nothing you can do right now. And Sean Roberts gets a little loose off of turn number 4, trying to get a little bit more out of that Toyota Supra. Got a little too much out of turn number 4. That's going to burn up the rear tires a little bit, get those tires hot. That's going to allow Caleb Sisk to just chew away even more at the lead, and we should see a transfer of the lead here on the back straightaway as Caleb Sisk going to pull within a car length now, and he's going to be probably side by side in turn 3 and 4, which he does. He drives it a little bit deeper than Sean Roberts does. Sean Roberts, he's not going to fight Caleb Sisk because there is no fight to have there. So Caleb Sisk now back to the point here on lap 78.
Yeah, coming to get 79. That looks rather easy. Sean Roberts goes back to the lead. Or, excuse me, Caleb Sisk goes back to the lead. Sean Roberts is second. Matt Sisler will maintain third. We would expect this gap now to widen at an extreme rate. Sean Roberts is not going to want to pit for at least another 15 laps, 16 laps or so, coming at his last set. We also believe that Caleb Sisk, Matt Sisler, and the rest of them also should have one more set of tires. Is that correct, Kendall?
Yeah, I believe so. Like you said, I think it's only Sean Roberts that does. Well, everyone has one set of tires left, I'm pretty sure, because we've seen at least everyone take fuel only on one stop. Just keeping reiterating that strategy is the only two that do not have fresh Goodyear tires right now, I believe, is the number 33 of Sean Roberts, and then that 31 machine of Scott Milner. Like we said earlier, he's been doing a very fantastic job of saving his Goodyear tires. So he'll have, I believe he hasn't even took tires yet, I believe we said earlier. So something to watch out there. So he might be on 2 sets still down on the pit lane.
Absolutely. And so, looking at this as it comes down to it, and let's go ahead and pop the championship graphic back up here. There it is. So kind of reset the field for you in terms of the championship. Paul Durkee is 15th. He is 1 lap down. He does have that 5-point cushion. Caleb Sisk is leading the race. Right now, Caleb Sisk would be your champion. Michael Bennett is 7th. And so that's where he rides. The machine of Paul Ferdiani is 13th. We've got Jesse Redding. He is going to check in 11th. He was just passed for that position just passed for 10th by Skylar Harrod. Sean Roberts runs second on the alternate strategy. You've got Matt Sisler in third. Chris Gones is now 5th. He's gotten around the Lawson and Bennett machine, so move Gones to 5th, and he is still the fastest car on the speedway by quite a margin. Alfie Sharon Jr. is currently running 8th, and the last car in the championship chase, Joseph Bennett, currently scored 17th. We are 83 of a scheduled 130 laps here at the Homestead Miami Speedway. And for the last time this season, we have not had a caution flag yet, so let's go ahead and pay some bills. What do you say, Kendall?
Yeah, let's do it.
Accelerate your success with Track Bar Media, tailored for small business owners. We craft dynamic social media content, custom iRacing videos, and unique merch with no minimums. Maximize your reach with our national billboard placements, and meet our elite Track Bar Motorsports esports team, Track Bar Media. Affordable, impactful, and fast. Race on over to www.trackbarmedia.net now to learn more. Beadle's Custom Car Carriers creates 1/64 scale model car carriers, and they make all of their kits in-house. They can make trucks to your specs as well. You can check them out at Beadle's Custom Car Carriers on Facebook and at Beadle's on Instagram. And we have caution on the speedway. Not really quite sure what this is for. Brandon Coleman. Let's kind of see what we've got here for Brandon Coleman. We've got him coming off of turn 2. He's battling Jarrett Woodard. We're going to have some contact. Brandon Coleman is going to save the automobile almost down on the inside. He's still got it pointed in the right direction, although the rear tires don't like it when you do that. Still got it going correctly. Now he's finally going to spin it down to the inside of the speedway. No contact yet. Watching Brandon Coleman here. And then, is he going down the road course there, Kendall?
Yeah, I think he was trying to prevent the caution flag from coming out, but it already did at that point in time. They're unfortunate for Brandon Coleman, but I mean, gotta give him props though. He kept it off the wall, preventing damage to that 11 machine here in the late going of here at Homestead.
Absolutely. So you're exactly right. I think Brandon Coleman is trying to prevent the caution flag from coming out. The iRacing trigger is gonna put the yellow light on if you go too slowly on the racing surface. So he's doing everything he can to not have that come out, and it didn't come out until he drove across the sand, which was a little bit too close for comfort for the sim. And so tough break for Brandon Coleman. He sits on pit road. He'll be scored 19th. Cars that did come to pit road: Caleb Sisk, Thomas Welch, they have stopped. Gas only, Kendale Paul.
So some strategy being poured out here now. Caleb Sisk going to have Sunoco Racing fuel on board that Chevrolet Camaro. Sean Roberts, he does have the older Goodyear tires. He's elected to stay out. He's 24 laps in the stint. So you got to think some of these guys are hoping probably for another caution in this one. And we always hear cautions breed cautions, and we'll see if that holds true tonight here in this one, as we'll stack up the field once again. We haven't seen this field stacked up like this since we went green flag 87 laps ago.
Yeah, and I was kind of doing the math in my head. 86, 87 laps. We're probably well outside the situation where you could come and grab tires and make this your final stop. I am surprised that nobody took tires there. We're probably gonna have a splash and go at some point here. Sean Roberts is going to be due in, by my calculations. He's going to be due in about lap 100 to 105. We assume he'll strap on 4 new tires and be good to the end. I am surprised though that somebody like Caleb Sisk or even Chris Gones or Alfie Sharon Jr., somebody didn't stop, bolt on 4 tires, and say, look, even if I have to make a splash at the end, I'll only be on pit road for a second or two. I'm going to go build me up a huge lead and go win this thing.
Yeah, that is very surprising. And, you got to also kind of look at it for some of these guys that maybe speed isn't their friend. So you kind of always, how I think of it is, if you can't beat them on speed, you got to beat them on strategy. So to kind of throw a wild card strategy at it, it wouldn't hurt someone that's kind of been running around the 7th, 8th spot to go throw on those Goodyear tires to see what happens in this one, because we know Caleb Sisk is going to be fast. We know Chris Gones is going to be fast.
Speaking of Chris Gones, he's going to line up to the outside of Sean Roberts. Chris Gones has a 9-lap tire advantage on Sean Roberts. 8 laps is the advantage for Michael Bennett. So those guys, the outside row has a decided tire advantage over the inside row, although that's not going to be as pronounced early. We've been under caution here. We're gonna cool those bad boys off a little bit, and we'll see how long Sean Roberts can hold on to the lead here. The pace car ducks on off. It does not hit the barrels.
Green flag, green flag. And we're once again green. Sean Roberts gets an amazing jump. He's going to jump out. But the question is, how long? For the battle for second is on. Chris Gones to the top side of the racetrack. Matt Sewers to the bottom. Chris Gones going to get blocked by Matt. Oh, tight racing here. Chris Gones is going to get the short hand of the stick there, as he's going
Jarrett Woodard around in the back. Jarrett Woodard has gone around in the back, and he Alta F4 is out of here. Great move by the driver of the 79 to get out of harm's way. Meanwhile, Sean Roberts has dropped like a stone. He is back to 5th. He is got a handful of trouble. They are 3 wide trying to get around that 33 machine. Contact, and into the wall goes Sean Roberts. He will save. No, Paul Ferdiani gets him. Caution on the speedway. Lap 90 of 130, a scheduled 130 here at Homestead, Miami. Sean Roberts, a wild ride, contact with Justin Lawson, and then at the very end, tapped by Paul Ferdiani. He'll be on his way to pit road for the fast repair. Tough break for Sean Roberts.
Very much so is, and that's just going to throw another wild card into the strategy books here for Sean Roberts. The good thing is he'll get a fast repair, and I believe that does give him a fresh Goodyear set without using the ones that are in the pit lane. So that'll be something to watch out for Sean Roberts. So, I mean, a little bit good news, bad news for him in this one here on lap 91. I mean, props to him, though, for getting it loose and just locking down the race car. Sometimes you see on the iRacing service, people just let the car spin and just kind of let the car do whatever it wants. Sean Roberts took command of his Toyota Supra, did all that he could, slammed on the brakes, made it more predictable for those guys. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, as we saw Paul Fernier to get to the side of him, but Sean Roberts did all that he could during that wreck there, so some props to him.
Absolutely. And so we're gonna watch here. Matt Sizzle or Caleb Sisk, Skylar Harrod, Justin Lawson. I'm assuming Lawson, it was contact. He's gonna grab the fast repair. But let's kind of watch and see here. My guess, and again, I'm a bad guesser, Caleb Sisk is going to grab his last set of tires and be good to the end. Let's watch the pit stop for Sean Roberts. There's the stop. He's going to go up on the jack, so he actually is going to take his tires. They've already popped back into place, so the fast repair has been effected for Sean Roberts. He'll be back out on the tail end of the lead lap with a shot. Still got a chip in a chair, but the task got that much taller for Sean Roberts. Also on pit, so the cars that stopped, Lawson, Sisk, Harrod, Welch, Roberts, and Milner all came to the pit lane, lap 92 of 130. And you would think, Kendall, Paul, that for those guys, this is it.
Yeah, and I think so. And I mean, for the last pit stop, it's right on the line there as we're, 35 to go once we go back green flag racing. And I mean, just got to point out, Caleb Sisk, he took 4 fresh Goodyear tires, and we know how fast he is. So I think that's a dangerous combination here, as he is one of the only ones that took 4 fresh Goodyear tires. We didn't see Chris Gomes, Michael Bennett, Alfred Sharon Jr. come in down the pit lane to get their fresh tires at all. So something to watch out for. And I mean, Caleb Sisk put himself in a very good spot here, but a very dangerous spot for everyone else.
He did. Now, what those front 7 are looking for, that's Michael Bennett, Gones, Sharon Jr., Redding, Williams, Corvu, and Corvu. So it's the front 6 now. Here's what they're looking at. They're thinking there's going to be about 5 laps and a yellow. And if they get 5 laps and a yellow, the advantage is going to swing back in their favor. They're kind of gambling up there. But it's probably a pretty good gamble. Cautions breed cautions, Kendall. And so it wouldn't be a stretch. It's not going to be a stretch to think that we're going to have another one. Speaking of another one, Davidson Builders in Cape May County, New Jersey, is a beacon of excellence and stands as a testament to family values and military dedication. As a veteran-owned and operated general contractor and remodeler with over 25 years of unmatched experience, they marry quality with affordability. From tailored customizations to expert craftsmanship, they paint dreams into reality across residential and commercial landscapes. Check them out. That's www.davidson-builders.com. And I got to keep my wife away from that web address. She's been talking about remodeling the kitchen now for about 6 months, so I got to keep her away from that. And the Numb Thumbs Racing fans, are you looking to upgrade your ride? Whether it's your car, truck, Jeep, boat, UTV, or ATV, Prospec has you covered. They're locally owned and operated in Jacksonville, Florida, specializing in high-quality accessories and installations that take your vehicle to the next level. From custom lighting like underglow and rock lights to top-of-the-line sound systems and backup cameras, they've got you covered for everything you need to make your ride truly yours. At Prospec, they bring your vision to life with precision and care. Visit them today and see why they're Jacksonville's go-to source for all things automotive and beyond. Prospec, where quality meets customization. We are under yellow. Lap 94 of 130. 35 laps to go for the Trophy Dash and the money here in the NTRL. That's Numb Thumbs Racing League. Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series. It's getting down time to race for the money. On the inside, you've got Michael Bennett. Outside of him, Chris Gones. Row 2, Alfie Sharon Jr. and Jesse Redding. Anthony Williams and Mike Corvu make up row 3. None of those cars have fresh tires. The cars behind them have all the fresh tires in the world as we get ready to come back to green flag racing action. The pace car driver is going to make the hard left past the barrels on pit road. He does not hit the barrels, and away we go.
Michael Bennett, he's going to get out to the race lead in front of Chris Jones. Chris Jones, they're going to dial up that middle lane to try to get the momentum built up to get around Michael Bennett. What a march it's been for Chris Jones. He's on the back, he's made his way up to second. He's going to work on Michael Bennett for the lead after Sharon Jr. behind them. We're going to watch the battle. Jesse Redding in fourth, Anthony Williams in fifth, and we got Caleb Sisk coming up through the middle. He's going to get sideways. Will he save it? Yes, he will. So a very scary moment for Caleb Sisk coming out turn number 4.
They are 3 wide, in some cases 3 rows deep. Now they're going to settle down. You're going to have Herod on the bottom. He's got Caleb Sisk to the top. You have Joseph Bennett on the bottom with Sean Roberts. That is 9th and 10th. Mike Carvu has been booted back to 11th. He's greeted by Thomas Welch in 12th. Meanwhile, the racing has gotten fast and furious here at Homestead. Caleb Sisk is going to crank the 006 to the middle groove. He's going to get around Joseph Bennett. Meanwhile, you've got Justin Lawson once again scraping the paint off of the number 20 on the high side. We've got 33 laps to go, here to decide it at Homestead. Caleb Sisk going to drill the bottom groove. He's going to go right around Justin Lawson in the 20. Lawson, of course, is on the fresh tires, as is Caleb Sisk. Sisk now is looking at Skylar Herod. Herod, by the way, is the leader of these cars that are on the new tires. It's not Caleb Sisk, it's Skylar Herod. Herod going to go to the bottom of Anthony Williams. Let's move Herod to 5th, Williams to 6th, Sisk to 7th.
Fresh tires are marching through the field, and Michael Bennett continues to lead. Chris Jones just following behind him. But the battle is back here. Skylar Herod and then Caleb Sisk there for the 5th spot. Will Caleb Sisk going to just kind of ride the wave with Skylar Herod here and then decide it once they get to the race lead? And so remember, they do have the fresh Goodyear tires by easily 20 laps on some of these guys that did not take tires these last couple of cautions. Skylar here is going to dial up the high side of the racetrack to try to get around Jesse Redding, build the momentum around. He should have it here. He's going to go back to the top side. He's going to go to the top side of Jesse Redding. They're going to
split him
3 wide for the 5th spot.
They're going to split him. Skylar Herod goes to the top. Jesse Redding is the meat in the Caleb Sisk sandwich. Sisk now going to drop back to the bottom. He's going to follow Skylar Herod around the top. Thought better of it. Meanwhile, that's allowed that group at the front, Gones, Bennett, and Alfie Sharon Jr. to get away a little bit. They are a second and a half ahead. The longer it goes, the better it is for them, although we would anticipate that the Herod and Sisk machines are going to arrive on the scene here rather shortly, probably 2 or 3 laps. Meanwhile, the other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about with 30 to go, Gones, Bennett, and Sharon Jr., they've been out there for 28, 29, and 30 laps respectively. They're going to be getting short on gas. They're going to have to pit. And my guess, Kendale, is they're going to want to stay out as long as possible. We get a battle for the lead.
Yeah, we do. Chris Gones, Michael Bennett do battle for the first spot here for the point. Chris Gones wants it. Michael Bennett trying to defend it here. Chris Gones, he's going to dial up the top lane of the racetrack. We'll see. He's going to ride that seam around the racetrack. Michael Bennett's going to go all the way down to the bottom. They're going to be equal, but the momentum's going to be built by Chris Gones. This should give him a little bit of an advantage here on the straightaway. Will he get clear? No, he will not. Michael Bennett's going to side draft that machine, slow Chris Gones down. So Chris Gones is going to come down a lane from where he was running to kind of prevent Michael Bennett from getting a better exit, but Bennett, he's going to get a little bit better exit than Gones did, as Gones, I believe, got a little loose on the top side there in 3 and 4.
He most certainly did. They're still side by side, and all this is doing is, 1, it's slowing them down. 2, it's burning up their tires because they're going to have a battle on their hands here momentarily. Skylar Herod and Caleb Sisk have entered the picture. Chris Gones is going to get back in single file behind Michael Bennett, but those cars could be due on pit lane here, Kendall Paul, within the next 10 laps. And you've got to think Sharon, Gones, and Bennett, they're looking for a caution here pretty soon.
Yeah, 100%. They need a caution. They've got their first wish. Let this go green a little bit. They kind of burn off the good from Skylar Herod and Caleb Sisk. Now we're in the window that they need a caution before they pit. Michael Bennett and Chris Gones, they've been out here for around 31, 32 laps. The furthest we've seen is around 35, 36, 37 laps. So they're due in here in the next 7 or so laps, or even sooner. So they definitely need a caution here soon. But At least here in the top 10, they're not going to get it granted unless it's going to be a single car spin. But maybe the back half of the field will produce one, because they are still battling here out. Matt Sizzler, Sean Roberts, they're battling back there for the 10th spot. And now, as I say that, some more battles forming on the racetrack. But like you said, they definitely need a caution here soon, because Skylar Harrod and Caleb Sisk, they're rowing their boats to the front.
You know, and kind of want to talk about those old tires on the Bennett, Gones, and Sharon cars. Harrod and Sisk are not catching them. They're all running the same speed now. And you got to wonder, is that a decision, is that a calculation from Skylar Harrod, Caleb Sisk, to just kind of match pace and not burn off their tires, knowing that that's the only set you got? You're going to be leading a race here pretty shortly, watching Alfie Sharon Jr. and Chris Gones go at it for second. But knowing you're leading the race and knowing you're effectively leading the race and knowing if a caution does come out, you're going to be at the disadvantage, so save a little bit maybe?
Oh, I think that's 100% right there. They are exactly doing just that. They're matching pace with the leaders. They're not letting them run away. They're not letting them...
Here comes Chris Gones.
Them.
Here comes Chris Gones onto the pit lane. The 41 Blue Chew machine has blinked first. Jesse Redding is going to follow him, as is Anthony Williams. Excuse me. So Chris Gones is going to hit the pit lane out of second place. Here he is. We're going to see the Blue Chew stickered Chevy Camaro number 41. He's going to pull it to a stop. Up on the jacks it goes. 4 fresh tires and enough Sunoco racing fuel to make it to the end to Chris Gones. That's going to turn him into a rocket ship, but I don't think he's going to have enough time without a caution. Also on the pit lane now, Alfie Sharon Jr. and Michael Bennett. They have exhausted their supply of Sunoco, and they're headed to pit road. Thankfully, once again, everybody has missed the barrels, and they're going to come down and grab fuel and tires. We would like to thank Colby Pierce, our good friend. He is not in the field this evening. All the barrels at the end of pit road are therefore safe.
Well, we'll have to. Hopefully that is true. Hopefully we just do not curse someone to hit the big yellow barrels. I know they're nice and bright and they look tempting to hit. They're not fun to hit, though, as they will end your night really quickly. But Caleb Skylar here, they're going to inherit the race leads of this one. I'm almost wanting to say I don't know if they're going to be able to make it on fuel. They're going to have to come down to get a splash and go. But I think they are still in the advantage there, because it's going to be less time down the pit lane, and now they're just going to start building up the advantage a little bit. But also, we've got to keep in mind Chris Gones and all those guys have 4 fresh Goodyear tires, so it's going to be tight here coming to the end of this one.
Absolutely. Watching Caleb Sisk navigate lap 109 of 130. He's got about a 1 second lead, 9/10 to a second lead over Skylar Harrod. They have turned up the wick. Now that the others have come and got their fresh tires, it's going to be up to Chris Gones. He's last time by 33.596 to a 34.196 for Caleb Sisk. So 6/10 is in it now. But 6/10 of a second for 30 laps is not going to be enough. He might get him back to the lead lap, but it's definitely not going to be enough to get him around the leader. Skylar Harrod, he's going to run at second, and he's got a host of company back behind him. That's Joseph Bennett third. Thomas Welch has moved his way up to fourth. What a fine run for Thomas Welch. And then Matt Sizzler is back in fifth. Sean Roberts runs sixth. Chris Klein seventh. Justin Lawson, who, have we kept count of how many times he's scraped the wall this evening, Kendale Paul?
I have not, but I'm pretty sure if iRacing would model it, his whole side of the race car would be that beautiful turquoise blue. If he wants his car painted that way, you just got to ask his painter to paint him that color, because he just loves hitting that wall on that machine. But when he does hook it up on the top side, he does a very fantastic job, though, once he does hook it up.
He does indeed. Watching Chris Gones work his way around Skylar Harrod. That is the fresh tires. Gones is giving it all she's worth, but it's unless he gets a caution, he's going to be in an awfully bad spot when it comes down to the end here. He's made it around Skylar Harrod for second. He is now that's the car of Caleb Sisk in front of him. So at least Gones will be on the lead lap here should something happen. Alfie Sharon Jr. is about 2.5 seconds behind this deal. So here goes Gones. He's going to get back on the lead lap. He'll pass Caleb Sisk on to the leader lap, but he's only got 27 laps to go to make up 1.5 miles.
Yeah, he does, and I think you kind of got to hope Caleb Sisk has to pit. And, I mean, it's kind of got to be a no-go here. No-go for Caleb Sisk if he's going to try to make it to the end. It's going to be now that he has to make that call, because if you make it later in the run, that just gives Chris Gones the advantage to run it out longer and longer and to catch him faster. But also, you got to keep in mind of the time of the pit stop. If you run it out a little bit longer, it takes a little bit less fuel to put into that machine to make it to the end. So stuff that Caleb Sisk has to kind of think about and has to have a definite number in mind here coming to the closing laps of this one.
Well, we're right on board with Caleb Sisk. He is not doing the classic things to save fuel. He is getting back in the throttle hard in the 006 machine. He's taking it all the way up. Now he shuts it off going into turn 3. So he must have heard us. We know that these guys do watch the broadcast. At least some of them do. But Caleb Sisk shutting the car off going into turn number 3 and 4 there. Last time by 34.690. Chris Gones 33.706. So a second a lap now. You're watching Caleb Sisk go through turns 1 and 2. Alfie Sharon Jr. going to go by, put himself back on the lead lap. Of course, no fuel concerns for the machines of Alfie Sharon Jr. and Chris Gones. They are full tilt going for it. And it appears as though Sisk, he's shutting it off going through turns 3 and 4. He's running full tilt through turns 1 and 2. Let's take a look at Skylar Harrod, see what he's doing. All right, so he shut it off briefly and then clicked it back on through 1 and 2. Looks like he's just going to try to save it through more smooth throttle application there, Kendale. It doesn't appear as though Skylar Harrod is shutting the vehicle off or clutching and coasting or anything like that. Thomas Welch is still in the power going through 1 and 2, as is Joseph Bennett. So really, the only car that's saving fuel in any sort of meaningful way is going to be Caleb Sisk in the 006. He is your leader, 2.0 seconds over Skylar Harrod. We're watching the battle between Harrod, Thomas Welch. You got Matt Sizzler, the 00 of Joseph Bennett, the 00. Sean Roberts is involved. What a mess from third on back. Well, really second on back. It's kind of hard to get all those cars into one shot.
Yeah, well, I was just kind of doing some calculations here for Chris Gones and Alfie Sharon Jr. in relative to Caleb Sisk. If Caleb Sisk can keep this pace up and keep saving the fuel and make it to the end like he's doing now, it's going to be a tall task for Chris Gones and Alfie Sharon Jr. to make up the time. They're only making up 2 seconds a lap. That's going to put them pretty much like 4 or 5 laps short. So they're going to have to dig deep and find some pace in that machine, or hope Caleb Sisk cannot save enough fuel in his Chevrolet Camaro. But a tall order for this 41 to 78 right now.
We're going to keep watching the last lap because that's going to tell the story. Chris Gones is 10th. He is the rabbit. That is the hare in this story, the 41 of Chris Gones. You see the purple number next to his lap. He owns the fastest one tonight here at Homestead Miami Speedway. 34.160 the last time by. Caleb Sisk is the leader. He is the tortoise. He's trying to save all of the fuel, run 38 laps. Nobody has done that tonight. Caleb Sisk last time by 35.096. So that's going to be the story, and we're going to continue to tell it. Just with the scoring pylon, 10 laps to go. The gap between Gones and Sisk is about 15 seconds, 15 and a half seconds. We are watching the battle for second, third, and fourth because it rages. That is Skylar Harrod in the middle. He's got the lap car of Jesse Redding on the bottom, and he is being pursued by Thomas Welch in the number 9 Diet Mountain Dew machine. He's got an interested observer in Sean Roberts behind him, and let's have a look and see what Sean Roberts sees out the windshield of that number 33 Paul Walker Toyota Supra. Roberts has now gone around Thomas Welch. So put Roberts third, Harrod second. Sisk continues to lead it. These cars are catching Caleb Sisk, as you can see, although Sisk just ran a 34.797. So he must have, again, I would be willing to bet these guys are watching. 9 to go.
Yeah, I would love to be a crew chief on one of these machines to see how much fuel they have left in these tanks. It just really determines how hard you can run these machines. And I mean, shout out to Skylar Harrod. He started 19th tonight. He's made his way up to second purely on the speed and strategy on that 3 Toyota. We'll see if he can reel in the 2 seconds to Caleb Sisk here in the late going of this one, as we're winding this race down quickly in a hurry.
We are indeed. Caleb Sisk, last time by 35.041. So he must think he's good now. He's got the screws to the 006, and he is now running equal lap times to those cars that are chasing him. Sean Roberts is a little bit faster. Chris Gones, 34.470, so half second a lap. He's chopped the deficit down to 24 seconds, but he's not going to catch him quick enough. 7 to go. Watching the battle for second, because the leader, Caleb Sisk, this guy right here in the 006, he has a 2.5 second lead. 2.3 seconds is the lead. We'll go back and let's get the gap back up. And there you see the story. Caleb Sisk 2.3 seconds ahead of the tortoise strategy. The hare still 23 seconds out. He's coming, but he's going to run out of time. 6 laps to go for Caleb Sisk in pursuit of the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Championship here at the Homestead Miami Speedway.
We might have a battle for second here shortly. Sean Roberts looking to take it away from Skylar Harrod. We seen Sean Roberts kind of test out the high lane to get the momentum around Skylar Harrod. He's going to pull up right on the back bumper of Skylar Harrod this time by here coming across the stripe. We might see a battle. He's going to pull to the inside of Skylar Harrod in turn 3 and 4, 1 and 2. Sorry, Skylar Harrod. He's going to shut the door though. He's going to take him down to the white line and kind of cut off his entry. So that will take the advantage away from Sean Roberts. But he's not done battling it out yet. He wants second spot away from Skylar Harrod.
You know, and that when you pull across a guy like that, throw the block. Yeah, you're going to cut off his momentum, but you give yourself a bad entry too. Skylar Harrod lost a ton of momentum down the backstretch. That's going to bring Sean Roberts to the top side, going down the front straight. And this time, Harrod cannot block it. He's going to have to take the bottom. Sean Roberts is going to go to the middle or high line, as you were right on that seam. He's going to get a ton of momentum coming down this backstretch, and is he going to stick with the high line, or is he going to switch him up, Kendale?
I mean, if he's going to block you on the inside, you got to take what's available to you, and honestly, give it back to him. You got to get to the outside of that 3 machine, pinch him down to the bottom, limit his exit. So we're going to see this battle rage on here. Skylar Harrod, he's blocking the inside lane. He definitely 100% one side inside lane. Sean Roberts almost kind of needs to do what the 20 was doing earlier, is ride that fence, get as much momentum built into that machine to get alongside, which he will pinch him off on the exit here. So they're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. And Sean Roberts, he's going to have the advantage here, but Skylar Harrod's going to drag him back with the side draft here to turn 3 and 4. But Sean Roberts, he's probably going to pinch him right back down in 3 and 4, which he will do indeed. That will check up Skylar Harrod a little bit, but they're still going to be side by side battling out for the second spot.
The battle continues to rage for second, but with 2 laps to go, the man of the hour, that's Caleb Sisk. The 006 is 2.5 seconds in the lead over the Toyotas of Skylar Harrod and Sean Roberts. Also, Matt Sisler, a fine 4th. Thomas Welch going to round out your top 5. He's got a little bit over 2 miles to pay dirt. Working through turns number 3 and 4, Caleb Sisk is going to take it right down to the white line, maybe a couple of feet off of it there at the apex. Very smoothly off of turn number 4 down the main straight for the final time. Barney, white flag in the air. This is the final lap of the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series. Caleb Sisk going through turns 1 and 2, looking to bring it home.
All he has to do is coast this Chevrolet Camaro one more time, or half a lap now at this, to collect the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Championship. He's going to bring it in turn 3 and 4, dial up the low lane one final time for the 2024 season.
Just as smooth as he started this race. Caleb Sisk going to bring it off at turn number 4. He's going to come down the home straight, and Caleb Sisk will win the race and the championship here in the NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Series. The battle for second, that's going to go to Skylar Harrod. He just nips Sean Roberts at the line. Roberts going to come home a fine 3rd. Matt Sisler is going to be 4th. Chris Klein will round out your top 5. But there he is. Caleb Sisk is going to be your winner and your champion this evening. Waiting for everybody to cross the line here so we can give the results. And we might get to see some burnouts too. What do you say?
Oh heck yeah, we'll definitely see some burning rubber from Caleb Sisk as he collects the championship.
Final results tonight from the NTRL Prospec Xfinity Homestead 300K. Caleb Sisk is your winner. He leads 84 laps. He stops 4 times, and he will take home the trophy this evening. Skylar Harrod, a fine 2nd. He made up 17 spots. Give that man the Hard Charger Award. That's going to be Skylar Harrod in 2nd. Sean Roberts is 3rd. He led 21 laps. He had the alternate strategy. Didn't quite work out for the driver of the number 33 Toyota Supra, but a good run for Sean Roberts. Matt Sisler 4th. Chris Klein will round out your top 5. Joseph Bennett in the 00 will finish 6th. Thomas Welch is going to be 7th. Scott Milner 8th after a really, really, really wonderful stretch. Of long green flag speed. Scott Milner 8th. Chris Goins, fastest lap. He leads 9 laps. He gave it everything he had on the alternate strategy. Unfortunately for Chris Goins, he's going to come home 9th today. Alfie Sharon Jr. did same. He will come home 10th. In 11th, it's going to be Michael Bennett, Jesse Redding 12th. Anthony Williams is 13th. Michael Bennett, by the way, led 13 laps, so great run for him. All of these cars now are a lap down. Williams in 13th, Mike Corvu 14th, Paul Ferdiani 15th, 2 laps down, Paul Durkee in 16th, Justin Lawson 17th, Jarrett Woodard, Brandon Coleman, and Derek Welch all out of the race, 18th, 19th, and 20th. 21st, Tom Barish, and shotgun on the field, Ryan Pasacco. He will be credited with 20 seconds. Get our interview angles pulled up here. Get the results out, and we'll see if we've got anybody down in the interview room here. Kendall Paul one last time. We've got Sean Roberts. Let's go ahead and pull him up. Sean Roberts, Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Wrong one.
Sean,
Get in and I backed out of it.
Sean Roberts, Mark Murphy, Kendall. We had a false start there. I grabbed Caleb instead. I didn't mean to do that. Sean Roberts, Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Oh, I got you loud and clear, guys.
You know, you gave it a shot with the alternate strategy. Didn't quite work out. Were you looking for a caution there, or were you gambling that they wouldn't be able to catch you? Tell us about your thoughts on taking those tires early.
My strategy was for lights the flag, no safety car whatsoever, just going green from beginning to end. And aside from those two in the middle, I mean, we were clean and green. That was a lot of fun. There was a great group of guys out there.
Most certainly was, and it was enjoyable to watch. Kendale, anything for our third place finisher today?
Yeah, congrats on third, and I believe you probably finished third in the points, or second in the point standings, I believe. Going forward, now you take a little bit of break here in the off season. What's kind of some things you got to work on to improve that one spot further to ultimately collect an NTRL championship at some point?
Big thing I need to work on is short distance pace. I don't have the short distance pace, but I can. I'm sure as you guys have seen, I seem to have that pace to go long distances. Seem to have the pace to where I can call some of the guys back and go those extra 1 or 2 laps if needed.
Absolutely. Well, the long run pace did serve you well, Sean. It served you well all season. You got to the final round, came up just a little bit short, but hey, you had a heck of a season. It was a lot of fun to watch you. You got any shout outs, friends, family, sponsors you'd like to get on the broadcast this evening?
Just to repeat, the guys at NTRL, they put on a great league. They put on a great league. This is my third season with them. Great group of drivers, so much fun. That battle between myself and Skylar, we're both trying to save fuel while trying to make the pass or defend on each other for those 6-7 laps at the end. And of course, you guys as well. You guys, I follow the broadcast afterwards, and you guys do a great job following the race.
Well, we do appreciate that, Sean. Thank you so much for all you do and entertaining us for the entire season. Keep going fast, having fun, my friend, and we'll see you next year.
All right, thanks, guys. Catch you later.
Absolutely. That's going to be Sean Roberts, the driver of the number 33. Paul Walker, Toyota Supra. He comes home third tonight. In second place, we have with us Skylar Harrod. And Skylar, what could have been. Tell us about your day. You definitely get the hard charger. I think you had to start in the back. Was that due to a penalty, or was it by choice or qualifying? But tell us about storming up there and running second today.
Definitely wasn't by choice to start back there. Coming out of turn 4 in my final lap for qualifying, I got a little loose and spun across the line and lost all my time and started in 18th or 19th. The beginning of the race, I just focused on trying to get as many spots as I could while maintaining tire, because I knew that was going to be important for the second stint. And then coming into pit for the second stint, I actually almost drove past my pit box. So that's what put me so far back the second time. And then the end there, we just got lucky with the caution. And I told Caleb that there's going to be no pressure for me, obviously. But the last 5 laps there, I was racing Sean there pretty good and pretty clean. He was trying to save, but also get second position. I was trying to save, but also get second position. So it just kind of worked out for me in the end there.
Absolutely. Kendale, anything for Skylar Harrod this evening?
Yeah, congrats on your second place finish. And even though you weren't having a shot at the championship, how is it important to run up in the top 5, even though you're not in the championship hunt?
For me personally, I enjoy racing. I enjoy competition. So I like getting out here, even though I'm not in the playoffs. Didn't make it due to missing too many races because of work. But even in the next gens, I didn't make it for the same reason. But I still get out every week and race just because I like the competition. And I just try and do the best I can for my teammates, Nick Biddy and Caleb Sisk. I know it helps a lot just to be out there, just giving info and doing what I can team-wise.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Skylar Harrod, what a tremendous run from the back up to second. Any friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to give a shout-out to today?
I'd like to give y'all a shout-out for picking up the broadcast halfway through the season. Sisk Speed Shop. My teammates, Caleb, Nick Biddy, sister team, Anthony Williams, and Joe David. Obviously, DW for putting on another great season. Can't wait to be back in January. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Absolutely. Skylar, well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Great run up to second. And thank you so much for entertaining us all season. Keep going fast, having fun, and we'll see you next year.
Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. That is Skylar Harrod, who is the second place finisher this evening. And now we get to talk to the man of the hour. We kind of had a false start earlier, but let's go ahead and bring up Caleb Sisk. Caleb Sisk, Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I don't know what else to say other than that was a dominating victory. You led the most laps. You had the best long run car. You had the best short run car. And you bring home the W tonight. You get the trophy for the season. Tell us about your day. Tell us about your season. And, just tell us how you managed to once again be the class of this field. Seems to be a trend.
I don't know if I'm the class of the field every week, but it did feel that way tonight. I think before the yellow came out, we were about a 15.5-second lead. It's a fun track. It's really there's just so much you got to do. You got to be on the right front on entry, so you can be on the right rear on exit. You can't be on the right rear all the way through. So a little bit of technical work to do there. It's a lot of fun to drive. Strategy was just be patient early in the race, but stay in clean air. And that worked out pretty well for us. I knew we would have good long run speed. I didn't know how our short run speed would be compared to others. I just really didn't want to push it too hard, especially those first 65 or so laps. So that was kind of the plan, and it worked out really well until the yellow came out. When I came down and got fuel, I was thinking that I only had like 17 laps of fuel left, and I didn't want to go back to green with not enough to make it halfway to the end of the race. I didn't want to have somebody come in and get fuel and trap me a lap down. It's about a 45-second differential to pit and get tires. So nobody else came with me, which made me a little nervous. And then, right away we get a second yellow. So I said, well, we're going to stick to our guns. We're going to put tires on this thing, get fuel, take care of them. And I caught myself in the middle 3 wide in some dirty air and nearly wrecked myself and had to remind myself that I wasn't racing any of the cars in front of me. They were on a different strategy. Had to just kind of rezone a little bit. Almost lost some discipline and wrecked myself. Thankfully, Skylar was behind me and didn't run me over, and just went straight to fuel saving mode once we kind of got in a straight line, clutching it. Had 2.5 laps of fuel there at the end once we crossed the checkered. So I am super thankful that it worked out. We only ended up with 4 wins on the season. I wish we could have had more, but 8 second place runs, so we were the bridesmaid more than we were in victory lane. So that kind of stings, but it really was a good season. It was a lot of fun. The strength of field in this Xfinity series is over 2K, and in a league when people don't run officials, I mean, iRating can be deceiving. So the fact that iRating is up and the strength of field is up in a league of this size, it just speaks a lot of volumes to the guys that are in here. Ton of fun all season. I know I'm kind of rambling on here, but want to give a huge shout out to NTRL, DW, Mark Collins, Chris Klein, Scott Milner, Tom Barish, the NTG guys. They put a lot of work in to make this thing happen. And in the past, I have been one of the people to complain when I didn't think that penalties should go the way they went. And I've said it all year. They got a hard job. Nobody's ever going to be happy, and that's the way it goes. So I appreciate them. Appreciate the Sis Speed Shop team, everybody that runs with me. Nick Biddy from Nick Biddy Designs. Alan Grote from Skunkworks Graphics for wrapping the car. Skylar Harrod has been here every week that he hasn't been deployed. So I'm a Navy veteran myself, but people don't realize that we don't want to go places that the military tells us to go. And he missed a lot of races. I wish he wouldn't have missed those races, because he probably could have been in his top 10 running with us tonight for a championship. But ton of fun, a lot of good people. Thankful to bring it home, really.
Absolutely. I do have a question for you too, just about just a point of racing this evening. We saw Sean Roberts come in and grab tires early. Did that play into anything for you, or were you confident that it was all going to come back to you in the end?
I was extremely confident once he got to me. I think at that time, I remember saying it out loud. I'm 7 seconds in front of Alfie and gaining, and he was only beating me 3 or 4 tenths a lap. And so had he been running a second a lap faster when he got to me, I would have been extremely nervous. I mean, you can put a huge gap on somebody, but once we came in and put our tires on, we ran him down fast. And I felt good about that. And it kind of, I think I said it to you a few weeks ago when Derek beat us on strategy at Las Vegas. You just have to be committed to what you're doing. You can't waver from, once you say you're going to pit, take tires and take fuel and be soft, you have to take it easy on the tires. And when you don't, you pay the price for it if a yellow comes out. But we had plenty of tire left there at the end, a couple laps of fuel for a green, white checkered, and it kind of worked out.
Gotcha. Kendall, Paul, any questions for the winner and for the champ this evening?
Yeah, congrats on your championship and congrats on the whole season. Kind of go into the emotions behind getting a championship in a league, because I know it's very rewarding and very very rewarding. Take it away.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of racing the same guys every week, so it's more than just winning races. I know Millet is pretty good at winning races and winning championships, but I haven't been nearly as disciplined as I need to in the past. And one thing I've learned from Millet and the HBR TV guys is a little bit more patience. I know I have the speed to run with them, but sometimes I get a little impatient with people. And now that I've kind of learned to exercise that, it is a lot more rewarding. I don't have any enemies, I don't think. I've raced Alfie hard, and I've raced Chris Goins hard, and I've raced Millet hard, and Michael Bennett and I have gotten into each other in the next gen league, but we're good friends. So, I mean, contact's going to happen. Racing is a contact sport, but I think that the championship really is more about it's been good discipline, minimizing mistakes, and not running over anybody or getting run over. So, of all the bad luck we've had, it's just ill-timed yellows, but that's going to happen. You can't control what you can't control.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Caleb. It's been a pleasure watching you all year. One last time, any friends, family, sponsors, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to this evening, sir? You've earned it. The floor is yours.
I appreciate it. Just one more time, Speed Shop. Hit us up if you need some help. Skunkworks Graphics, Nick Beatty Designs, and thanks to NTRL for putting this on. Thank you guys for picking up the broadcast on short notice. I know some people weren't real pleased at first, but man, I watch it every day on the way to work. I got a long commute into Charlotte, so I appreciate you guys. I think you've done a fantastic job, and hopefully we'll see you in the future.
Absolutely. Well, we thank you so much for the compliments, Caleb. Go enjoy your championship, my man. You've earned it. Keep going fast, having fun, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, sir. That is Caleb Sisk. He is your winner tonight at Homestead, Miami. He is the series champion. Kendall, Paul, what are your thoughts on our first season of the Numb Thumbs Racing League Xfinity Series?
It was a great season. What I've been here for, and I mean, I don't think there's been a race that's ever disappointed in this series. We've seen long green flag runs. We've seen short green flag runs in every single race. Probably the longest green flag run was tonight here in the championship race. And Caleb Sisk, definitely a great one to watch week in, week out. Very deserving driver of that championship. It was a very good season for a lot of these guys, and like I always say, is if you don't get the championship, it's really hard to claim one of these things, and you can't hang your head too low of not claiming that championship. You got to look at your season in a whole and see what you have accomplished, because there's multiple things you can accomplish within a season. So somebody like Sean Robertson, Matt Sizzler, that come up just short from getting a championship. You got to look at the bigger picture and see what you accomplished, and there's definitely good things to look at when it comes to a season.
Absolutely, and for me, it was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun calling this. This is the first series that I've ever produced, and had the pleasure of following week to week. Usually I'm down on the track with these guys and not up in the tower, and so. For me, it's been an absolute ton of fun to follow a season from a broadcaster's perspective. And to that end, I want to thank Derek Welch. He took a chance in the middle of the year on somebody that was unproven. And yeah, there were some rough starts and stops, but Derek never wavered in his confidence, and he's always been there with a kind word. And so and encouragement. And so, Derek, thank you from me. Your support has meant an awful lot this season. Want to thank all the competitors, from Caleb Sisk, the champion, down to Matt Sizzler in the chat. I had just as much fun broadcasting you as as you did watching it and racing it and talking to us. So the feeling is definitely mutual. Want to thank Skylar Harrod in addition to everybody else that serves our country. It is not easy on those guys. I myself have never served, but I have in nothing but awe and have nothing but the ultimate respect for those that do. And so while Caleb Sisk may have won the trophy and may have won the championship, there's a lot to be said for somebody who misses a race to put on the uniform and serve their country. And so, Skylar, we thank you for that. We also thank everybody else, all the military, the first responders, the police, the firemen, the EMTs that do the job at night so that we can put our heads on the pillow and sleep soundly. For Mark Murphy, Kendall Paul, Gary Godso, everybody at P1 Broadcasting, Mark Murphy signing off. Congratulations, Caleb Sisk, your 2024 NTRL Prospec Custom Accessories Xfinity Champion. Good night, everyone.